Recording in progress.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Afternoon here.
That's right. I always forget. Sometimes people are joining us the evening as well. Happy, beautiful January day. It looks like some of you guys have got some winter sun as well.
Yes, it's beautiful, windy but pretty.
Nice. Get everyone a couple minutes to join us. While we're just waiting for everyone to pop in, we are going to use a bolster in our practice today, and potentially a block could be used with the bolster. So if you have those two items, grab them. If not, just grab a cushion, something that's similar to a bolster. For those who are just joining, if you'd like to grab a bolster or something like a bolster, that would be helpful. So you can grab a couch cushion or a pillow if you don't have a bolster. If you have a block, you can also use it. I've used a block just to pop my bolster up a bit, but that's totally optional. All right, so it's 10 o'clock. We'll start. I'm sure a few more people may pop in. Other people may be watching this later on as a recording. Welcome to your winter practice. This is our opportunity to explore the ways in which we can shift the asana practice of yoga during the season to help create a sense of internal balance and harmony. When we're thinking of this from a yogic and Ayurvedic perspective, we're always in consideration of the elements within us and the elements around us and the relationship between the two. We know that during winter, in the colder months, that the element of kapha, which is the earth element, which is inherently cold and wet and heavy, is prominent. Depending on our own constitution, we may need to do a little bit more about that or less, dependent on whether or not kapha is already high within us. So some people at this time of year feel a deeper sense of heaviness, darkness, and sort of that cold, that slumbery-like lethargic state. So it will be important to incorporate practices that help to shake off that stagnant energy, that heavy kapha energy, and evoke more internal heat pitta, so the warming up. For others who maybe are not as impacted by the kapha energy, this time of year can actually be one that is fairly restorative in nature, one that is quite welcome. So for people who are often really highly driven or high pitta, this rising up of kapha can be something that's beneficial because it gives them the ability to slow down a little bit and to pull in a little bit. So again, we're just looking at how we need to fine-tune the dials depending on our own body and being. In general, the asana practice is going to shift into what I call a low, steady burn. So we want to think of taking care of the ember. So for those of you who've had to take care of a fire to heat your house, which I did for many years, the only source of heat that I had was a wood stove. And I was the fire keeper, so it was me getting up in the middle of the night to keep that ember alive, because starting it again from scratch is quite an ordeal. So in the deep winter months, we're tending to our own inner ember, our own inner flame, and making sure that we're doing what's necessary to keep it aglow and heating us, illuminating us from the inside. So in our practice, we want to be cultivating some inner heat, but doing so in alignment as well with the essence of the winter energy, which is to be a bit slower. So we're not as sort of dynamic and almost frantic as we would be in other months where we're feeling the energy to move more quickly. So here I like to just have a nice, solid vinyasa style practice where I'm cultivating inner heat and I feel sort of like the melting sensation or getting the thaw if something feels like it's becoming too solid. Now, that works with my constitution. That being said, for those who feel the real oppression of kapha at this time of the year, I would encourage shaking off kapha. So, having some practices perhaps throughout the week where you do get more dynamic and have quicker type movements if you need that excessive kapha to be released and shed. So here's where you really have to start to get to know your own body and make those subtle internal adjustments in your own practice. Both will be focusing on generating internal heat and maintaining that internal flame. This is also the time of the year where our digestion can begin to slow down a little bit. So, metabolism is also part of that internal flame that we're speaking of and keeping alive with that fire. So, the practice is helping us with that. We're going to sort of have a holistic practice as well. So we want to create that internal heat, that internal strength, not moving too quickly, so still honoring winter. And then it's important to make sure that at the end you have some time for rest, because this is the time where we're doing deep nourishing of ourselves, because we're creating the conditions in which something new is about to be born and to be grown in the next growing season when we move into spring. So now is the time where we're trying to create the conditions, and that means a lot of caretaking. So we do want to have some restorative aspects as well. So this is one of those times where we need that really holistic type of practice, taking care of all the needs. Remember, taking self-care for ourselves helps us to have that sense of inner care. We're going to start when you're ready on your mat using your cushion or your bolster in supported child's pose. So take the bolster right between your knees, lay your chest down on the bolster itself, and get cozy as you curl your way down and in. As you make your way down and onto your mat, we are connecting with the element of kapha. So remember, it's important as we notice the rise or dominance of one or the other elements. It's never something that we're trying to villainize. Kapha is not bad in any way. Kapha actually is our home. It's the true source of all creation, the medium of creation. So we're honoring the kapha elements within us and just making sure that everything is within that balance that allows us to be in harmony. So as you come down to the ground, do just that. Honor the kapha elements in your own body, the weight of your bones, the weight of your flesh and tissue. And honor the earth element beneath you that is this soft landing place, allowing yourself to fall down and into this restful pose. Honor your own body's need for rest, your mind's need for rest. And allow your mind to fall into something very simple and something present in this moment, which is the rhythm of your breath. Breath inherently is light in nature and can help return a sense of lightness to the denser matter of the body. Use your breath to stir up any stiffness, anything that feels too solid, stuck, or stagnant. Almost think of the breath as aerating the soil that is you. Whichever cheek you happen to be resting on, go ahead and switch sides so that you're on the other cheek. Just balancing the very passive opening through the neck, encouraging full rotation of the cervical spine. Become aware of the area around your shoulders and see if you can soften your shoulders just a little bit more. Now that the mind and the body have been woven together by focus on breathing, very slowly press your way up and away from the bolster. And if you have a block underneath your bolster, you can slide it out. And slide the bolster between your legs. So we're coming into a supported hero's pose. Underneath the sit bones to elevate the hips a bit here. And to practice the bending of the legs, maintaining mobility in the knees. Let your hands hang down beside you and move them in a way that they're not touching the earth. You should start to feel a gentle and dull ache through the sides of your neck and upper trapezius, the top of the shoulders. Take your right hand towards the sky, cross your hand over your head, and use it to pull your head to your right shoulder. Extend even further out into your left fingertips and explore the sensation there. In the colder months, it's important to note as well how our body responds to the lower temperature. For many people, it's a bracing or a shrugging around the shoulders and the neck against the cold. And this over-tensing can cause pain and discomfort in the neck and the shoulders. So just taking good care of these areas. Extend both hands up towards the sky. Lower your right hand towards the earth. Bring your left hand across your head and gently pull your head now to your left shoulder. Reach out and down with your right fingertips. And breathe through that thread of sensation that goes from your ear into your hand. Inhale again, take both hands up towards the sky. As you exhale, use core muscles to turn your chest to the right. Then bring your right hand onto the bolster behind you. Let your left hand cross over onto your right leg. Inhale to lengthen your spine as you root into your sit bones. Then exhale, turn your gaze to the back of your mat. Inhale, come forward, reach both arms over your head. As you exhale, use core strength to turn your heart now to the left. Drop your hands down, left hand behind you, right hand on your leg. Inhale first to lengthen the spine, then exhale to work into the rotation, the twist. Inhale again, come back up through center. As you exhale, bring your hands forward and down. Draw the bolster or the cushion out from between your legs, and you can shift it off of your mat. We won't use it again until closer to the end of practice. Bring your knees back together underneath your hips, set your hands under your shoulders, and curl your 10 toes down onto the floor. Move your hips back against your heels, sway your hips from side to side to extend and open through the flexion of your toes, the inner arches of your feet. Become aware of the sensations there. Then rise up to tented fingers, crawl your hands further forward. Get active in your arms, active in your shoulders as you hug your shoulders towards one another and down your back towards your pelvis. Wander your hands off of your mat over to the right. Take spinal flexion here. A little pinch through the right side of your waist and a big flaring open into the left side of your rib cage. Draw your breath down into the lower lobe of your left lung. Walk your hands across your mat, now over to the left. Crawl your right fingertips away from your right hip crease as it gets long and open. Gently squeeze and cinch at the left side of your waist. Walk your hands back through center. Shift your shoulders forward over your palms. Uncurl your toes. Press the top of your feet firmly to the floor. Float your knees 2 to 3 inches off of the ground so that your shins are hovering. You'll feel the core begin to fire up and work. The legs begin to fire up and work as well. Slowly circle your shoulders over your hands to massage your hands down into the supportive ground. Pause, and then go the other way. Pause, bring your knees back to the floor, Recurl your toes. Float your knees a second time, making your way into bear pose. Shift a little more weight forward into your hands. Spread your breath evenly into the front side and back of the rib cage. And as you feel the internal heat building, think of your breath as fanning the flame, fanning that ember. Turn your toes and your knees to the left side of your mat. Then pull your hips back and down towards your heels. Inhale, come forward with your knees. Same thing, other side. Turn your toes and knees to the right side of your mat. Pull your hips back and down. Inhale to come forward. As you exhale, ease your knees onto the floor, uncurl your toes, take one cow belly breath, look forward, reach the crown of your head and tailbone up. Then look back between your knees, lift the back of your heart up. Come into a neutral alignment for your spine. Take your right leg straight back behind you, level out through your hips. Look towards your right shoulder. Pull your right knee up towards your right shoulder, then kick your right leg straight out to the side. Try to hold your foot around the same height as your hips. Swing your right leg back behind you, bend your knee, point your toes up, look forward, reach the crown of your head up towards the sky. And as you exhale, bring your kneecap towards your nose, round through your back, draw your navel towards your spine. Extend your right leg straight back behind you again. Then lower your right toes onto the floor. Pull your left knee away from the floor up towards your chest. Hold here for 3, 2, 1. High plank, lengthen both legs out. Whenever we're in this pose, you always have the option of dropping your knees to the ground for a bit more support, building strength gradually and naturally over time. Lower now onto your knees, hips and belly. Inhale, curl your way up to cobra pose. Try to create both heat and strength in the back side of your body, animating those muscles that can work well to support the spine and its function. Exhale, roll your heart back down. Inhale to tabletop pose. Curl your 10 toes under. As you exhale, move your forehead to the ground and your hips against your heels. Take a full cycle of breath here. So much of the winter season is allowing ourselves to take moments to pause. It's about stepping out of the constant momentum that's often pushing us or pulling us forward into doing. The way that we find that beingness is by the pause. Taking a moment to reflect, to connect, to feel and be. Shift your way forward into tabletop. Also an opportunity to reset and be present in what we're doing. Take your left leg straight back behind you, level hips and shoulders. Look towards your left shoulder this time. Bring your left knee in that direction, then extend your left leg straight out to the side. Push through your heel. Swing your left leg back behind you. Bend your knee, point your toes up, reach the crown of your head up as well. As you exhale, round your back, pull your kneecap toward your nose. Inhale, extend your left leg long behind you. As you exhale, lower your toes down onto the mat. Pull your right knee away from the floor and hold here for 3, 2, 1. High plank. Try to push the back of your head towards the sky so that it remains higher than your heart. Then lower onto your knees, hips, belly, chest. Turn your heels towards one another. Inhale, lift your heart up. Also try lifting your feet up. So you should feel the warming and strengthening now through the entire backside of your body. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale to tabletop or high plank. Press the earth away from you. And shift your weight to downward facing dog. We'll take 5 cycles of breath here, so some time for you to slowly melt your way into the frame. And that's really what I like to imagine is happening the first time I visit this pose. It's a way of moving around in my body to shake off any of that initial resistance or tension that I might feel on the back or west side of the body frame. Gentle movement helps to, again, just create some space where things might feel a little stiff or stagnant. Again, see if you can help to stir up all of those elements with your breath. Turn your gaze now from your feet forward to your hands and start to walk slowly in that direction. As you find your first forward fold, be easeful in this frame. Soften your knees, melt forward and down. Focus on releasing the full weight of your head so you get the benefit through the upper back, your thoracic spine, and your neck, cervical spine. With your next inhale, rise to light intented fingers. Bend your knees a bit more, drop your hips down to around kneecap height. Create a solid foundation with your legs, active squat position. Take your hands out in front of you. Pour your body weight down through your heels. Press down into your hands, come to standing tall, Tadasana. Tadasana is a fantastic way to really connect with the healthy levels of kapha in the body. So here we feel solid and strong, connected to the ground, but also dynamic in energy. So we're lifting as well, supporting ourselves. With your next inhale, reach your arms out and up towards the sky. As you exhale, bring your hands down to heart center. Interlace your fingers, press your palms forward, take your hands up. Really continue to root down as you do this, so you're sending dynamic energy in 2 directions. Take your hands over to the right now, squeeze through the right side of your waist. Swing your hands in front of you, round into your upper back. Swing your arms over to the left, push back through your right shoulder, and take your hands again overhead. Do that same loop, but go the other way. Take your hands to the left, press your palms forward, round through the upper spine, swing your arms over to the right, and then come back up through center. Bring your hands to your heart, bend your knees, touch the floor with your fingertips, and set the frame for Utkatasana chair pose. Reach your hands up towards the sky. Take a deeper seat, drop more weight again into your heels. Slow, steady, even cycles of breath. One more inhale, reach up into your hands. As you exhale, sweep your hands slowly back behind you as you slide your left toes to the back of your mat. Stay on your toes as you inhale your arms up and over your head. Then as you exhale, bend both knees, drop your hands down beside your hips. Take a cycle of breath or 2 here to really plug into both front and back big toe mound. With your next inhaling breath, lift slowly, arms and the height of a lunge. Exhale, sink slowly, return to the ground. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, sink in. 1 more time. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, sink down and in. With your next inhale, reach your hands up, join your palms together, then pull your hands down and into prayer fashion at your chest. Lean slightly back on your next inhale, then hook your left elbow over your right knee. Option to bring your left knee on or off the ground to support you in this twist. Take a few cycles of breath as you work into this twist. Again, thinking about helping to stimulate the digestive fires of metabolism, to focus awareness and energy around the region of the belly. With your next inhale, reach your hands straight out in front of you, hover over your right leg, and place your hands down onto the ground. Step your right foot to meet your left foot, high plank. You can hold here or move through vinyasa, coming halfway down or less in chaturanga. Shift to cobra or upward facing dog. And make your way back and into downward facing dog for a full cycle of breath. Now when you visit downward dog, begin to tone lightly through the front of your legs. Lift and define your kneecaps. Create a connection with the quadriceps. Look towards your hands. Walk, step, or hop between your thumbs. Pour your body forward over your legs. Bend your knees, start to sink your hips, reach your hands back towards the sky, making your way back into Utkatasana chair pose. One more inhale up into your hands, and as you exhale, reach your hands back as you slide your right foot back. Inhale, reach both arms over your head. As you exhale, bend both knees, begin to sink down as you drop your hands down. Take a cycle of breath here, connecting with the foundation. Plug into your big toes. Then inhale, rise up slowly, take your arms over your head. Exhale, lower slowly. Inhale. Exhale. One more time, inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale your arms up, join your palms together. As you exhale, bring your hands down into your heart. Lean slightly back as you inhale. Then hook your right elbow over your left knee on the exhale. Again, set a foundation that works for your body as you make your way into this twist. As you inhale, try to lengthen the spine. Remember, creating that sense of spaciousness helps with a sense of lightness. Breathe into your belly, stoking that ember with your breath. Arrow pose, reach your hands straight out in front of you. And bring your hands down to plant on the ground, step back and into high plank. Hold here or move through your vinyasa. And shift back through downward facing dog. With your next inhale, roll up into your toes, look to your hands, walk, step, or hop between your thumbs. Drop down and into forward fold frame. Then come back to chair pose, reach your hands to the sky. Turn your palms forward towards the front edge of your mat. As you exhale, pull your elbows back and broad. Come into cactus arms or goddess arms. Really activate the shoulder girdle. Inhale, reach up again, lengthen. Exhale, pull down even more deeply with your elbows. One final round, inhale, reach. Then exhale, pull. Inhale, reach your hands to the sky. Roll forward and down into forward fold. Bring your fingertips onto the floor. Step back now with your left foot. Tip your left heel down onto the ground. Inhale, rise up to warrior one. As you exhale, find solid structure in your legs. Push firmly into both front and back foot. Take one more inhale here, reach up and back with your fingertips. Then again, as you exhale, pull your elbows down and back, coming into those goddess or cactus arms. Look towards the sky as you inhale. As you exhale, press your elbows towards one another and hook your right elbow over your left. Wind into your eagle arms. Inhale, lift up through your fingers. Exhale, pull your elbows down. Point your fingers forward, roll up and into the ball of your back left foot. Stay here or stand in your right leg and lift your left leg like a tail feather. Bend your right knee, lower your left toes back behind you, slowly lift your chest. Unwind your arms, use them like wings, soar your arms out and up to the sky. Exhale, lean forward, swing your arms backward, catch them together, interweave your fingers. Gaze at your right big toe as you extend your knuckles towards the ceiling. Take 3 cycles of breath here. Inhale, slowly peel your chest away from your right thigh. Tip your left heel down onto the ground. Straighten your right leg, lift your right toes. Turn them to face the left long side of your mat. Inhale again, look towards the ceiling, hands still bound together. As you exhale, swing your hips back, tip your chest forward. Make your way down into the second bound forward fold, wide-legged forward fold. Bring your hands onto the back of your hips, release the interlace of your hands, slide all the way down to the floor. Come halfway up as you inhale. As you exhale, bend your left knee, sink your hips down towards your left foot, so you're moving your pelvis towards the back of your mat. Option 1, keep your hands on the floor for a little more support. Option 2, bring your hands to prayer fashion at your chest. Stay low with your hips as you move your hips now to your right foot. Stay low with your hips as you transition again to your left foot. Stay low with your hips, bring your hips to your right foot, then drop your hands onto the ground. Walk your hands to the front edge of your mat, let your toes turn with you. Anchor down into your palms. Take your right foot back and up towards the sky, 3-legged downward facing dog. Lower your right foot onto the back of your left heel and give it a good pinch. Drag your left heel closer to the floor. Bring your shoulders forward over your palms, then tip to the outer edge of your left foot, inner arch of your right foot. You can keep both hands on the ground. You're strengthening the left side of your waist by doing this. Or you can take your right hand to the sky, Vashisthasana. If your right hand is lifted, try scooping it under the left side of your waist, getting a deeper pinch, then inhale, reach it back up. Do that one more time, reach under, and then up. Make your way to your high plank with your knees on or off the floor. Hold here or move through vinyasa. Eventually meet in downward facing dog. And start to notice again as you come back to downward dog, it's that opportunity to take the pause, to connect with what's taking place in this moment, to notice, observe, and to be able to then make good choice from that connection point. Notice the internal heat you've already created. Look to your hands, walk, step, or hop between them, back into forward fold. Sink down and in. Inhale to chair pose, reach your hands towards the sky. Exhale, pull your elbows down and back and shoulders onto your back. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, pull. One more round, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, reach your hands up. Make your way into forward fold, drop your hands as you lift your hips. Take a big step back now with your right foot. Tip your right heel down onto the ground. Rise to Virabhadrasana 1. Take one more inhale here. As you exhale, pull your elbows broad and back again. Look towards the sky as you inhale, open through the heart. As you exhale, press your elbows towards one another. This time, hook your left elbow over your right. Wind into your eagle arms. Inhale, lift up through your fingertips. Then exhale, point your fingers forward as you lean forward. Pivot up onto the ball of your right foot. Stay there, or float your right foot as you stand in your left leg. Bend through your left leg, lower your right toes back behind you, slowly lift your chest. Unwind your arms, reach them out and up. Lean forward, swing your arms backward, catch them together, interlace your fingers. Narrow through your upper back as you bring your left shoulder towards your knee and turn your gaze down to your left foot. Peel slowly up away from your left leg. Tip your right heel down and onto the ground. Lengthen your left leg this time. Lift your toes, turn them to face the long side of your mat. Inhale, look up, reach your knuckles down. Exhale, tip your chest forward, swing your hips backward. Slowly make your way into your second round of forward fold. You might be able to move your hands a bit further away from you in this next round. That softening in the shoulders takes place over time with practice, surrender. The body's connective tissues also respond so well to heat. And we're creating the heat through that little inner flame. Bring your hands to the back of your hips, slide your hands down. We'll create some more of that heat. Come halfway up. Take a deep and generous bend again to your right knee. Lunge your hips towards your right heel at the back of your mat. Option to keep your hands at the ground or hands to prayer fashion at your chest. Transition your hips to your left foot. Then to your right foot. Again to your left foot, drop your hands down. Walk your hands towards the front of your mat. Let your toes turn with you. Come down onto flat palms. Take your left foot back and up to the sky. Lower your left foot now onto the back of your right heel. Give it a pinch. Drag your right heel towards the floor. Bring your shoulders forward over your palms. Tip to the outer edge of your right foot. Inner arch of your left foot. Both hands on the ground or take your left hand to the sky. Keep your hand lifting or try reaching it under the right side of your waist. Inhale, come back up. Let me try that one more time. Squeeze and then lift. Bring your left hand onto the mat, step into high plank, hang out here or move through vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Again, an opportunity to pause, check in, to breathe and be. Walk your hands slightly closer together so your thumbs are touching. Step your feet to the outer edges of your hands. Arm pressure pose. It strengthens the legs and releases the shoulders. Slide your hands back so that the hands are framing your heels. Your thumb is on the inside of the heel, index finger is on the outside of the heel. Then tuck your shoulders inside your knees and begin to squeeze your knees into your shoulders. Lift your hips but drop your head. Take your breath into the little triangle between your shoulder blades, the back of your heart. Slide your hands forward now to release and heel toe your feet together underneath your pelvis. Soften through your knees, reverse curl your way to standing, lead with the back of your heart. Let your head come up last. Loop your shoulders up, back, and down into place. Sweep your hands out in front of you with your palms turned towards the ground. Lift your toes up, make lots of space between them. Then rock up into your toes, lift your heels. Bend your knees and start to sink until you're about halfway down. Then pause. Turn your palms to face one another. Lift your hands higher. Drop your heels lower, back into chair pose. Roll into a more dynamic forward fold. Push down into your hands and grip with your belly. Step your left foot to the back of your mat. Tip your left heel down onto the floor. Make your way into Warrior Two. Bring your right hand to the inside of your right knee. Make sure your right arm is both long and strong. So imagine the elbow cannot bend. Use your right hand to push your right knee more open, then slowly slide your fingers down the inner shin bone. Take your left arm towards the sky, bent triangle. Continue to leverage the strength of your right arm against the inside of your right knee. Slowly tip back up into warrior two, but imagine that your right arm is still pushing against the inside of your right knee. Turn your right palm towards the sky. Bring your left hand onto your left thigh. Reach up and back with your right hand as you still feel your right knee being pushed open. Come back into warrior two. One more cycle of breath. You should be feeling the heat in your right leg. I definitely am. And then we'll take advantage of that heat. Lengthen your right leg out and tip into triangle pose. Allow the body to release heat, which is a form of energy, and allow it to triangulate and circulate through your body frame, creating within your own body temple sacred geometry that allows an inner alignment so things feel more connective, fluid, open, expansive. Come back through warrior two. Keep your right leg bent as it is with your knee hugging open as you pull your left heel in and drop into goddess legs. Reach your hands up towards the sky as you inhale. Interlace your fingers. Pull your hands back behind your head. Push your elbows really wide. Drop even lower into your hips. Slowly bring your right elbow down towards your right knee. Use your obliques to bring you back up through center. Smooth movements. Slowly lower your left elbow towards your left knee. Come back through center. Take your hands towards the ceiling. Press up with your palms. Take your hips towards the floor as you hug both knees open. Bring your hands now forward and down. Turn your toes in. Push out through your heels. Walk your hands out in front of you onto the floor and then lean back towards your sit bones, wide-legged downward dog. Walk your hands back in under your shoulders, come halfway up. And walk your hands towards the front edge of your mat. Let your toes turn with you. Bend into your right knee. Lower your left kneecap down onto the ground. Uncurl your back toes. Sway your hips gently from side to side. And walk your hands back. Let your right leg lengthen in front of you. Point your toes up towards the ceiling. Ardha Hanumanasana. Inhale, lift and lengthen through your chest. Exhale, move your heart forward and down. Inhale again to lift and lengthen through your chest. Grip with your belly. Lift your right foot. Kick it straight back behind you. Come down onto flat palms. Curl your left toes under. Take your right foot back and up to the sky. Three-legged dog. Step your right foot between your hands. Stand in your right leg. Lift your left leg like a tail feather. Then lower your heart towards your right knee as you take your left foot closer to the sky, standing split. Drop your left foot to meet your right foot. Ease into an easeful forward fold. As you inhale, step back with your right foot. Tip your right heel down and onto the ground. Make your way into warrior two. Take your left hand now to the inside of your left knee. Push your left knee open. Keep your left arm long and strong as you slide your fingertips down the inner shin bone. Take your right arm towards the sky. Try to stack through your shoulders. Keep pushing into your left arm as you turn your heart up and push your right shoulder back. Come back through warrior two. And again, imagine that your left arm is still pushing against the inside of your left knee. Turn your left palm towards the sky. Bring your right hand to your right thigh. Reach your left hand up and back as your left knee moves forward and continues to hug open. Come back through warrior two. Lengthen your left leg. Tip into Utthita Trikonasana triangle pose. Lower your fingertips to your shin. Take your right arm to the sky. Cinch slightly through the right side of your waist so you're able to lengthen out through both sides. Create long, fluid, open lines in your body frame. Bend into your left knee, come back into warrior two one more time. Keep your left leg as it is, pull in with your right heel, make your way down and into goddess legs. Inhale your hands up towards the sky. As you exhale, sink your hips lower to the floor. Try lifting your right heel. Drop it down. Lift your left heel. Drop it down. Lift both heels. Drop them back down. Bring your hands onto the ground. Turn your toes to face the long side of your mat so your feet are parallel, and place your hands on top of your feet. Bend your knees, hook your elbows to your inner knees as you lower your hips. And try to broaden through the back of your pelvis. Slowly lift your hips up. Slide your hands underneath your shoulders, then walk your hands to the front of your mat as your toes turn in that direction. Bend into your left knee, drop your right knee onto the mat, uncurl your toes, and sway your hips from side to side. Walk your hands back, lengthen your left leg, point your toes up towards the ceiling, lift through the back of your neck and heart, then lean your heart forward and down. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, roll out and down. 1 more time. Inhale up. And exhale down. Inhale to lift through your chest. Grip with your belly. Lift your foot. Kick it straight back behind you. Come down onto flat palms. Recurl your right toes under. Take your left foot up towards the sky. 3-legged downward dog. Step your left foot between your hands. Stand in your left leg. Lift your right leg like a tail feather, then humble your heart down, making your way into standing split. Place your right foot down next to your left foot. Ease into forward fold. Soften your knees, slowly reverse, curl up to standing again. As you stand here, revisit Tadasana. Allow Tadasana to be the pause, to reconnect with the rhythm of your breath, the sensation of the body, the anchoredness of you in this moment, not going forward or back, but holding still, being present. Notice perhaps the shifts in the energetic frame, the kapha elements of your body. The heat, the circulation of heat. And step your feet a bit wider so your toes now hang completely off of your mat. Bend your knees, place your elbows on your thighs, coming into half malasana or yogic squat. Use your elbows then to push your knees more open, maybe drop into Fomalasana, listening to your body. Use your hands, one hand in front, one hand behind, to ease your sit bones onto the ground. As you extend your feet towards the front of your mat, reach out, grab hold of your bolster, and bring your bolster somewhere nearby so that it's close, within arm's reach. Sit tall as you lengthen your left leg out. Pull your right knee towards your right shoulder. Then hop your right foot over your left leg. Root evenly into your sit bones. Swing your right hand back behind you, lean back. Take your left hand towards the sky. Lean forward as you hook your left elbow over your right knee, prop your spine up, and then take a twist. A little more dynamic than the twist that opened our practice. Now that our body is warm and we have more mobility in the spine, we can explore deeper rotation. Look forward, swing your left hand back behind you, lean back. Lift your right foot, pull your left foot in, and then lift your left foot. Crawl your fingertips forward, then lift your hands towards your heels. Keep the bend to your knees or extend your legs out any amount. Bring your feet onto the floor and your hands onto the floor behind your hips. Lift your hips up, reverse tabletop. Lower your hips down. Slide your right leg long, pull your left knee in, then hop your foot over your right thigh. Swing your left hand back behind you, lean back. Take your right arm up and back. Hook your right elbow over your thigh. Root into your sit bones evenly as you lengthen, so you're emerging out of a balanced pelvis. Then turn your gaze towards the back of your mat. Swing your right hand back behind you. Again, lean back, lift your left foot. Pull your right foot in, lift your right foot. Crawl your hands forward, then lift your hands up. Bring your feet onto the floor and hands onto the floor behind you. Slowly again, lift your hips, reverse tabletop. Lower your hips back down and against the ground. Take your cushion or your bolster and slide it underneath the back of your knees. And then extend your legs a little bit longer. Walk your sit bones back as you tip your chest and belly forward towards your thighs. Let your hands rest beside your heels. Turn your gaze down and just sink into supported seated forward fold. Curl your way slowly up towards seat. Slide your heels back so that the soles of your feet are flat against the ground. Reach your hands forward and curl your way back down onto the back side of your body. As you roll out and down, lower your hands beside your hips. Pull the bolster snug up against your sit bones for a moment. Well, it's quite close by. Then lift your hips up and grab the bolster and slide it underneath the back of your pelvis. Let your hips settle and rest here on the bolster, taking a few cycles of breath. I often call this spa bridge. Doing bridge pose, all the benefits of bridge without having to do any of the work. You can stay here in the supportive frame, or if you want a bit of a deeper release of the hip flexor and the psoas, you can try extending your legs out long. Slide your heels slowly back in if your legs are extended. Bring your knees towards your chest now, one and then the other. And take your feet up towards the sky. You can rest your hands on the bolster. This pose is a very restorative inversion, very gentle inversion, and it's similar to legs up the wall and has some of the same benefits to shoulder stand because our hips are elevated. Allow it to be as easeful as possible so you're finding a stacking point where there's almost no muscular effort required. Allow your torso and all of your vital organs to be nourished by this influx of blood, draining from the legs, moving down towards your hips and then into the back of your body. Think again about taking deep and good care, nourishing yourself, creating the conditions in which things can grow, take root, and eventually emerge. Soften your knees, slowly start to trickle your feet down. When your feet come to meet the ground, lift your hips back up. Use your hands to slide the bolster towards your heels again, so you can bring the back of your pelvis flat down against the floor. Use your feet now to tuck and snug the bolster right up against your sit bones. Then extend your legs long, one followed by the other. Allow your feet to fall open. Let your hands fall open beside you so your body is open and receptive. And again, think about coming into this position as a sacred pause. The opportunity to be still, the opportunity just to be. Very slowly bring your right hand onto your heart and your left hand onto your belly. Feel the rise and fall of your breath. Perhaps in this space of being open and receptive, acknowledge the effort you pour into your practice, the effort you pour into taking good care of your heart and taking good care of your inner ember, your flame, your light. Slowly bring one foot at a time on top of your bolster. Let yourself tip over to whatever side is calling you, your left or your right. Tip down and onto that side of your body and take a full cycle of breath. press your way slowly up and into seat. You can sit on the bolster if you like, or on the ground itself. Find a place where you can sit as tall as you truly are. And again, take a moment to bring both hands now onto your belly. Feel the rise and fall of your breath, the breath stoking the flame that has now emerged from the ember. I always think of the song, This Little Light of Mine, whenever I'm thinking about this ember in my belly, and remember that it is in my care. Your light is in your care. Taking the time to honor that flame, to allow it to stay bright, vibrant, and shining. Because we have the opportunity to share our light with the world while we're here. Thank you for taking time out of your day to do just that, to honor and tend to your flame, to allow it to grow stronger within you so that it then radiates out of you, illuminating not only your path, but the path for all. Take this light out into the world and model the way. Join your palms now, prayer fashion at your chest, coming home. Namaste. Thank you all so much for joining me on a Saturday in January. I hope you're feeling a bit warmer now. That inner fire and flame stoked a little bit inside of you that will carry you out into the day and the week. How was that for everyone? Feeling pretty good? Fantastic. Did anyone have any questions about the asana practice at this time of the year? Or any observations of how you naturally tend to shift your own practice at this time of the year? Any insights?
This time of year, my practice area is cold, and I have a hard time keeping it warm. So this was a fabulous practice, and I'm warm everywhere except my fingertips and my toes. I just appreciate the warming practice. So I think I don't think I've ever been more happy to be invited to keep doing a vinyasa.
Yes. Keep it going, keep circulating it. It really is. Yeah, I'm very happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unseasonably cold here. We're on the West Coast, so I always joke that we don't have to be real Canadians over on the Vancouver side. But today we're having to be real Canadians because it's -10, which has never happened. So we're all huddled inside. I'll just keep doing yoga all day. Well, thank you for that sharing, Carrie. And continue to practice, keep the slow burn going. Remember, you're intended to create that inner heat, whatever that does that for you, circulating. I look forward to being with you again. If you have any insights, questions, any of that comes through the content that we're learning about winter, please share it on our community chat or send me an email. I also love to talk about this stuff and answer questions that may arise for you. So know that we're a community and you can pop things up there on our chat as well. I've got some fun pictures I'm going to pop up there pretty soon of the winter wonderland. All right, have a great day, everybody. Happy winter.
Recording.